Anyway, so every time I sit at his desk in that chair there, and then he goes a drawing down, and he just give me the speech, you know, just telling me all about it, you know, whatever he says. And I'm just staring at his mouth there. Whenever he says, okay, I said, okay. So I grab the drawing. I take these pieces of steel that he cut off on a hacksaw, you know, I mean on a cut-off saw. And then I take it over to lathe, and I go through the drawing, you know, and I just make it to the drawing.
Right, right.
No problem.
Right.
And because, you know, I knew how to run the lathe, then I knew how to read the drawings, I knew how to write the inches.
Right.
So no problem, you know. And if there was a problem sometimes that had a note on there, and I go to my Czechoslovakian guy, to the interpreter, ask him, you know, what does this note mean, you know. So I ask him, and then no problem, go on, you know.
Okay.
And like I said, after 2 months, and I sit down, and he's giving me 6 pieces, and a drawing, you know, and then give me a long speech again, you know, and he said, okay, okay. I go over to the lathe and make them, you know, and I noticed about 3 diameters on that thing, 3 steps on there, that it was pretty doggone close, 32 micro finish, high finish, that, you know, in my mind it should have been grind, you know, not machined on a lathe, and polished. So all 3 of them was like 1,000 to 1,000 tolerance, and normally you don't do that on a lathe, you do that on a grinder, you know, it's too close to tolerance. So you leave grinding stuck, you know. But, hey,
that's what it says.
The note didn't mean nothing to me, you know, and he did not mark it up, because I told him before that, you know, you change something, mark it up on a drawing.
Right.
If you change something from a numbers on a drawing.
Okay.
Well, he didn't change anything, so I said, well, that's pretty tough, pretty close tolerance. I never done anything that close tolerance on a lathe, but I did it, you know, and it had a good finish on there, the right diameter, and I take it over to him. He check him with a micrometer, each diameter, you know, and then I could tell his face turning green, you know, this guy's getting mad at me, you know. What's the matter with him, you know? And he started talking and cussing, and I learned cuss words already, you know, so the first ones you learn. So I knew there was something wrong. But, you know, and he just scratched his head. Every part he'd check, and he had a trash can by his desk there. He checked one, throw it in the trash can. Check other one, throw it in the trash can. I said, what's the matter with this guy, you know? I checked those things, it was right, you know? And anyway, so he was really mad. He said, come on, let's go get the interpreters, you know. We're going to go in there and see Noska, you know, the Czechoslovakian guy.
Right.
So, okay, so here we go. Grab the Hungarian, Czechoslovakian interpreter, you know. And then we went in Noska's office there. We go in there, you know, so we interpreting through there. The first, and he was right on the face. He was so mad. I scrapped all the parts. And then he was interpreting through there, telling Noska that he told me, verbally told me, to leave grinding stuff, 5,000 grinding stuff on each one of those diameters, you know, and I didn't do it. I mean, he didn't do it. He scrapped all of it, you know. I mean, it's the right size, but we got to have it grind. We can't have it just polished.
Right.
So it came around to the interpreter, you know, and finally I said, well, you tell that old fella here that anything he changes, I told him before, mark it up on a drawing, okay? That plus 5,000 or whatever, you know, on that diameter. Or that note don't mean nothing to me that it's written in English.
You don't know a word he's saying.
I have no idea. And then besides, when he's giving me this long speech every time at his desk there, sometimes for 20 minutes, you know, telling me all about it, I have no idea what he's saying. I just assumed that he tried to tell me how to do it. I know how to do my job. So, anyway, so the old TJ, he just sat there, and then all of a sudden he just kind of starts smiling. He's like, well, I don't understand. He said, he always did the job exactly the way I told him. And, you know, if I tell him to do this and that, he did that job exactly the way I tell him. I thought he could understand English, he just cannot speak it. You know, because he always did the job the way I told him. I said, no man, I said, I got the experience on that lathe there, you know, and I know how to run that lathe. I know how to finish that part out, you know. I know how to make those dimensions. You know, I don't never understand a word you're saying, you know, in that speech, except the okay on the ink. And old Stanley Noska was about to burst out, the general manager. He had a little belly anyway. He was just bouncing there laughing so hard that he was about to die, you know. And old TJ said, he said, well, I'm sorry. He says, okay, well. So old Stanley, anyway, interpreter, came to the interpreter. Okay.
Hungarian, Czechoslovakian, English, yeah.
It went through there, and then, so everybody was laughing, and we went back in the shop. And then, so about 10 minutes later, he had some more pieces sawed off, 6 more pieces for me, because those were scrap.
Right, right.
And then handed to me, did not say one word. All he said is, he handed me a drawing and a parts. He said, okay. I said, okay. He just shake my hand, and I'll go to work and I'll do it.
That's the way it did.
But after 2 months, and this poor guy did not know that I didn't understand English.
A single word you said.
He just thought that I understood everything, because he assumed because I did it exactly the way he told me. Well, you know, my experience was so extensive on a lathe there, you know, that he didn't have to tell me how to run that lathe.
Right.
It just so happened that I did it exactly the way he wanted me to, you know.
That's hilarious.
But after 2 months and not knowing that, I never did figure that one out, you know. How did that guy never did figure that out, that I couldn't understand what he's saying, you know.
That's incredible.
But that was something else. But it was, thank God for that company. I got my first job there. And then after that, they gave me, because I was going to go to All Our Supply, but they was offering so much more money. I'm talking about a bunch more money.
Okay.
So what they did, they offered me a big raise. I mean, usually they only give 2 cents and a nickel raise, you know. And they gave me like 49 cents raise or something like that. Anyway, they put it in their company paper that it's the biggest raise in all this history, you know, that I got, you know, because they didn't want to lose me.
Okay.
So I stayed for a while, and then there was a layoff when Halliburton bought him. So after that, I went to work for All Our Supply anyway.
Wow.
But I got the biggest raise of all this engineering history.
Amazing.
So anyway, but it was some wonderful guys that I was working with.
Was it?
And then, yeah, there was one guy in a tool crib. He just didn't like foreigners.
Okay.
He's one of those West Texas guys, you know?
Yeah.
You always call me all kind of dirty names.
I
and
see.
What kind of foreigner and all that I was. And how come you're so smart? How come you know this? How come you... Because I always tell him, you know what, you know, because they don't let you grind your own tool. So you have to hand it to him, and in the crib there, he grinds a tool for you where you want it.
Okay.
So I tell him, you know, how to grind it. And he gets so mad at me. I know how to grind it. No, man, you don't. You didn't do it the last time, so this is the way I want it, you know.
Right.
And that guy gets so mad at me. He always wanted to whoop my butt. I said, well, someday I might give you opportunity for that too. And anyway, now it's got all over in the shop there. See, old Les, and this, and what was his name? Wassmer.
Okay.
His last name was Wassmer. But anyway, he said that, well, old Wassmer and old Bokros are going to get it on.
Right.
You know. So these crazy guys, and there was a couple of bookies in there. You know, they always bet on football games, have football putts, all that kind of stuff. So what these crazy guys did, they had a football putt, I mean a putt on me, and I don't know how they set it up.
I see.
But the bookies was placing bets on both of us, you know, because the bookies always win, you know.
Right,
no
sure,
what,
yeah, either way.
You know, because they get the 10%.
Right.
But anyway, so without us doing anything, they set up this night after midnight, you know, because we was working second shift,
Okay.
that me and him gonna get it on out there on the parking lot, you know.
Okay.
And, well, I couldn't back out, you know, and he couldn't back out.
Okay.
So there we was out there, getting at it. And let me tell you, I never had, you know, too much of a fight in my life, you know.
Okay, right.
But I was a boxer in school, you know, in the school when I was going in.
They just taught basic boxing.
You know, so
yeah.
I had the feel for boxing, and thank God he didn't.
Okay.
You know, because I put in some punches to him that surprised him a little bit, you know. And
Okay.
he wound up with a bloody nose really quick.
I see.
But we was keep going, and it's got bloodier and worse and everything. Finally, we were so tired. This was going on for an hour, you know, and we got so tired, so give out. You know, I knocked him out, and then he got get up, and then, I mean, he gets up, he knocks me out. Both of us laying on the ground there, side to side. I'm looking at his face, he's looking at me. I said, have you had enough yet? He said, give me a little time here, he says. I'm gonna kick you, blank, blank. I said, well, sorry, guy. I said, I'm pretty well pooped out. I said, he said, just give me a little time. He said, you better be ready. So we get back up again and then get at it again.
I see.
And both of us laying on our backs there, and these crazy guys there was encouraging.
Get up, get
Somebody
up.
got to get up, you know. It's got to be a winner, you know.
Yeah, right. They want the hit bet.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, so me and him decided, to heck with you guys betting on this stuff here. We just hogged necks there. You know.
Did you?
We became a best friend. That's the best friend I
Are
ever
you
had in my life.
serious?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, there was blood running all over us everywhere. But old Travis Wassler became one of my best friends I ever had.
I see.
Yeah, and he was from Odessa, West Texas there.
Wow.
But anyway, I wonder if he's still alive, because I think he was younger than I was.
Huh.
But he was really cocky. He always wanted to whoop my butt, and so he got the chance.
Wow, wow,
But I'll
wow.
tell you what, I never had a whooping like that in my life.
Did you break anything? Break your nose or anything?
Oh, we had all kind of. I had a black eye for weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then my nose. I think I had a halfway broken bone in there or something. Because boy, it was so sore. My nose was this big, you know, and then my lips was all swelled up. He was the same way. I mean,
Right.
we beat each other to death,
Oh,
you know. But anyway, we became a best friends.
incredible.
It was so crazy. And these guys was fighting out there. The bookies didn't make the money because they had to split it
Yeah,
out.
no one's to split it back.
Yeah, there was a guy. There was actually a referee out there. The maintenance man. He had that big cigar in his mouth. He's always had that cigar in his mouth there. And he was a referee there. He said, "Guys, I'm sorry, but they both winners."
Oh,
you know?
wow.
So,
Unbelievable.
so he called it a draw, you know. Because that's what we did. Because I told him, I said, "Hey, guy," I said, "these guys, you know, trying to make money on this deal here, I've had enough, you know." And he started grinning and said, "You know what? I have to hell with him, you know." So we just,
Wow.
give each other a big hug, and it was over with.
That's incredible.
After that, we would never, I mean, we went out to eat together,
Right.
and we became really good friends.
That's amazing.
He wanted me to take me out to Odessa over there to meet his mom and dad.
Oh, really?
I never did get out there. But he was a really good guy. But
Huh.
anyway, of course, after that, and then Otis was bought out by Halliburton, and then that poor Mr. Otis, at the time when he was bought out, he must have had to sell, because every 3 months, that's one thing in that company's history while I was there, every three months we have a dinner in Melrose Hotel on Oakland there.
Okay.
Okay, that was letting you know that how they appreciate you work and all that, you know. Have a big nice hotel dinner over there.
Okay.
And Mr. Otis paid for that every time.
Okay.
And this time we had the dinner, but that poor old man cried out there,
Wow.
you know, that, and let us know that how he appreciated what we did for him and all that, you know, but, you know, he's no longer going to be the owner of a company, and Halliburton going to buy him out. I think it was kind of a forced buyout of some kind. But it was pretty sad, because it was a good company. And
Yeah.
after that, nothing went the same. Besides, they had a big layoff,
Wow.
and then I went to work for All Our Supply in Garland there.
Wow.
But actually, I went for a lot more money than what I was
Okay.
making there.
Okay.
Because they was paying good money. Well, they was from Pennsylvania, U.S. Steel,
Okay.
that moved down here to Garland, Texas.
Okay.
And I run the biggest machinery ever was made over there
Wow.
in machine shops.
Wow.
They had, you know, making crankshafts that is 10 feet long, and the main bearings is about 18 to 24 inches diameter,
Yeah.
and you make it from a solid piece of bar stock,
Wow.
and with a 16-inch offset.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of machining there, and running a planer mill that you have 14,000 pounds of stainless steel blocks on it,
Wow.
and you cut in the three side of it, you know, top and the two side with this huge milling cutter, you know.
Wow.
And I was really enjoying it, you know, until I burned out on that too.
Okay.
I made a radar bases for LTV. It was huge, aluminum radar bases on a bullard or a vertical dirt plate. And I was really enjoying that. But when it was time to go, it was time to go when Minesco was hiring, and then went to work for Minesco. That's that.
So how did you
Oh yeah, and then I met Mom.
Oh yeah. Wait, so to stop it there. Wait just a second.
Mom, right
Wait. Stop it for a second and then start. Okay. All right. How did you meet a woman from Arkansas?
Boy, that's a good question. That was after I went to work from Otis Engineering to All Our Supply in Garland. And anyway, I think I just moved out too close to the All Our Supply over there on, I don't even know what street that was.
Okay.
Off of Forest Lane over there. And anyway, and then, of course, I used to live in Oakley when I worked at Odie's.
Right.
So
who were you living with there? You called her Mom?
Ma.
And what was her name? Do you remember?
Her name was Mrs. Ashton.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Ashton, Doug Ashton, and Ma. Her name was Wilma Ashton.
She really just took you in.
Oh yeah, took us in. Me and two American guys. One of them was from East Texas, the other one from West Texas. Dennis and then what was his name? I forgot. But anyway, so I had a room over there, and boy, she did everything for me. Iron my clothes, wash my clothes,
Wow.
and, you know, she was just well. I guess that's the reason we called her Ma. Everybody called her. Everybody knew her, called her Ma.
Okay.
She was a wonderful lady. But anyway, so when I went to All Our Supply, well, it was just a different kind of drive, you know. So I had to move out closer to where I work.
Okay.
So I moved out there to Garland. Well, not Garland. Well, I guess it is Garland.
Yeah.
Isn't it? What was that street name that apartment was on? I forgot.
Camp Wisdom.
No. No, well, I'll never remember it.
Okay.
Daniel Dale.
No, anyway, it was off of Forest Lane, where Forest Lane is where All Our Supply was on.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, so Jupiter Lane, Jupiter
Jupiter Road.
Road, yeah.
Okay.
Camp Wisdom.
Anyway,
hits
got me a
Jupiter.
nice apartment over there, and anyway, on the weekends, I go back to Oak Cliff to pick up my mail, you know, on Saturdays and Sundays, you know, or
Okay.
most of the time on Sundays, because usually I work on Saturdays.
Okay.
So, this was one of those weekends. I went down there to pick up my mail, but every time I went down there, there was a little drive-in down there on South Bickley. Of course, I was living on Bickley.
Okay.
And when I picked up my mail, I went down there over by Sainer and Bickley. There was this little drive-in named
Freeze it.
Freezat.
Freeze it?
Freezat.
Freeze
Freezat.
it.
Okay.
F-R-E-E-Z-E-T.
That was
And
the
what's the
name
name
of
of
it,
the
okay?
street? Bickley?
Beckley.
And,
Beckley, okay.
Okay.
and what was his name, the guy who owned that?
I don't know.
Mr.
I don't know.
Phillips. Mr. Phillips that owned that place. And he made the best dadgum steak sandwich
Really?
anywhere in the world. I mean, this guy was good at that.
Okay.
And every time I come down there to pick up my mail over at Mars there, I go down there and get me a steak sandwich.
Okay.
So I go down there and then I pulled in there, and then they pulled in there. There's this car that pulling in there with 4 or 5 girls. Well, it was Mom and Norma and Joyce, Mary, Hunk, and that other girl, the
Marie.
guitar player,
Marie.
Marie. Yeah. So there's 5 girls.
Okay.
5 nice girls, nice looking girls here, you know.
All
pulling next
driving
to me,
up, cruising
okay?
in their place.
And they
All right.
all was giggling at me and all that, you
Coming
know. I
home
look
from
over there.
church.
Were you in a car or were you walking?
I was in a car.
Okay.
This is a driving, okay?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
it's like,
Like
a
a
Sonic
Sonic.
driving,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, you're sitting there, and then the waitress come out in these mini skirts
Okay.
there, you know, with a tray, and then serve you, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know if I already ordered a steak sandwich or what, but anyway, they pull up.
Okay.
So when they pull up, and she was sitting on a passenger side there on
Okay.
the front, right?
Okay.
And Norma was driving.
The other 3 were in the back seat.
Well, 3 of them was Mary Hunk and
Marie and Joyce.
Marie and Joyce on the back seat.
Okay.
So anyway, told him roll the window down, you know, roll the window down and start talking to her there, you know, and I don't know what all they was talking about, but they was giggling back there, you know, the other 3 on the
This
back
is Mother's
seat.
Day.
Anyway, so they was asking me where I was from because I had an accent,
Okay.
you know. So I told them, and anyway, I was asking her to give me her phone number there.
Okay.
Well,
And,
she asked everybody for their name and their phone number.
now I asked everybody's name, but you only want to give me a phone number.
No, I'm not. We all had the same, Norma and Joyce.
Well, okay,
and I.
y'all all had the same phone number, so what? Anyway, so I got the phone number, and then I called her, and I made a date with her. Our first date. Where did we go?
Breakfast.
You remember? At Golden Nugget
Where was that at?
on Harris Boulevard.
Okay.
At that time, Harris Boulevard was a nice road,
Yeah.
nice street.
I want to
Yeah.
know what this
Then have
granddaddy's
hookers and
going to
all
say
that.
about
Right.
this.
Right.
But anyway, so I take her to Golden Nugget over there for
Okay.
breakfast,
Okay.
and then we talking there, and I think for whatever reason I showed her my paycheck. Then I just got my paycheck, okay? Because this was,
He was trying to impress me.
I don't know what
indeed.
it was. For whatever reason, guess what?
She fell in love out of that.
When I got home, there was no paycheck.
He left it there.
I said, boy, I tell you, what kind of girl did I meet here? You know, my paycheck disappeared.
So you were showing it off and you left it there on the table.
So, yeah, I left it, I think it fell under our seat, or under
No.
the table or something,
Okay.
because, anyway, I went back down there, and I couldn't believe it, you know, I found my paycheck, you know, they had my paycheck,
Okay.
so I picked it up. That was our first date. And, the second day, that's when was Thanksgiving dinner, wasn't it?
No, I think it was maybe the 3rd or 4th. You came over to eat Thanksgiving dinner with us. I'm not sure.
No, I had it all counted at one time.
I don't know really.
I think it was when you was cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving there. There was a second, and then a third day was on Friday, wasn't it, when Kennedy got killed.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's hard to forget some of those dates there, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, oh yeah, and was it on was it after we ate that we went somewhere on a freeway and then the WR, it was raining. It was on Thanksgiving night, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then at work at OR Supply, we always had a football pot, you know.
Okay.
I was a gambler back then.
Okay.
Anyway,
Back then.
yeah, back then, yeah, still am. But anyway, I was on this stupid football, $200 football pot, okay?
Okay.
It's big money. But I had two chances on there, a 5 and a 3, on a Texas A&M game, okay?
Okay.
And the 5 and 3 is about the worst number you can have in
Yeah.
college football, okay?
Mhm.
I mean, you just can't win with that, right?
Yeah.
No, 5 and 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
5 and a 2. That's
pretty
even
bad.
worse, okay?
Yeah.
So I was trying to sell that to everybody in the shop there, you know, in OR Supply.
Mhm.
I mean, that was $2 a chance each one of them. So I had
Okay.
$4 in it.
Okay.
I could not get 50 cents for both of them, okay?
Mhm.
So I was stuck with it. And then, so we was listening to the WRL radio driving on Stemmons Freeway there, you know,
Trying to hear the scores.
trying to hear the scores. And it was lightning, thundering, and you know how the radios back then,
Yeah.
you know, and then you couldn't make it out. All I know is they was giving a Texas A&M score, and all I could make out is it says that it was 15 to 12, whatever it was, okay?
Wow.
And I said, my goodness, that's crazy, you know. So I look at my chances, and but I couldn't tell which one won or who was what, okay? I couldn't tell.
Which
Whether
one
it
was
was
who?
Texas A&M or
I see.
Texas.
Okay.
No, I think it was 5 and 3.
Okay.
It was 15 to 13, I
Okay.
believe. But anyway, so I pulled out my chances and looked at them. Said, gee, it don't matter because I got 5 and 3 both ways.
Oh, I see.
So it doesn't matter who won the ball game, which way it won. I won $200 spot.
Okay.
So, and that's when I had a lucky night with her.
Okay.
Won a $200 spot.
Okay.
So anyway, of course, the third date was a little bit sad. We went to Jay's Cafeteria, wasn't it? On Mockingbird Lane, and right at the end of the runway there. Well, there was no runway there at that time, but Jay's Cafeteria was on the other side of the street there, and they had this wonderful seafood and lunches, you know.
Okay.
There. When I was at Otis Engineering, which it was in Luffield
Mhm.
at that time, you know, and I always come over to eat lunch over there
Okay.
at Jay's Cafeteria. I mean, it wasn't just seafood. You could eat all kind of lunches there.
Okay.
But they had some wonderful seafood there. But anyway, so we went over there on Friday whenever Kennedy came to town.
Okay. Right.
And as we was coming off of Stemmons Freeway and then go up in Mockingbird Lane, you know,
Mhm.
across Denton Drive. And just as we got across Denton Drive there, and here came the head of us, I mean, toward us, these motorcycle cops, you know,
Hmm.
and then these, I think 1 or 2 black limousines, and then just speeding down on Mockingbird Lane, we had to pull over, you know. And I told her, I said, hey, yeah, today is when Kennedy was supposed to come to town,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
We just saw Kennedy's car.
I see. Yeah.
No. Well, that wasn't a rot that Kennedy won. That was a Secret Service car.
Okay.
Was going over to Market Hall. It's taking a shortcut there because Kennedy won on Lemon and Inwood.
Okay.
I mean Lemon down through there and go to downtown, see?
So it was a fake car.
So, but we didn't know that.
Yeah, right, sure.
No, these was not fake cars. These was a Secret
Oh,
Service
Secret
car.
Service guys, okay.
Because Kennedy was supposed to go to Market Hall
Right.
after they go through downtown Dallas, see?
Okay, okay.
So that, I guess that's where these limousines was going with
to.
the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Because I think they brought him on a separate plane or something, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's what we thought we did. We just saw Kennedy's car, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That they was going to Market Hall, you know. Well, that wasn't so. Because after that, and then we ordered our lunch, and I don't know what we ordered, but anyway, the lady, the waitress, came out. I think she already brought the food out, and then when she came back for something else, bringing us water, well, I don't know what. But anyway, and then she says, Kennedy just been shot.
Mm.
And I said, well, what's the rest of a joke, you know, because
Right.
there's all kind of stupid jokes
Sure.
going on, you know. I thought she was telling some stupid joke, you know. Said, no, it's no joke, and then the tear appeared in her eyes. No, that's true. We just heard it on a transistor radio back there in the kitchen there, that President Kennedy just been shot downtown Dallas. I said, gee, we just saw his limousine, you know. Well, we thought we did,
Right,
but
sure.
we really didn't. So anyway, I don't think we ate any of our food. I told her, let's get in a car. I had a 59 Oldsmobile, I think, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went out in a parking lot, got in my car, and I said, well, gee, and then let's listen to radio. Turned the radio, and they said they was taking him to Parkland Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I said, gee, it's right down here. You know, we was right there at Denton Drive there, you know, if you go down through there,
Right.
and then you catch Inwood there, and
Right.
it's in front
Mhm.
of Parkland's Hospital,
Right there.
you know.
Yeah.
So I said, let's just go see. And so we drive down there, but by then, you know, there was all these people outside, you know, standing around and
Wow.
waiting for, and finally, I think they announced it that President Kennedy died,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
So I think we was there when he died, in
Wow.
front of a hospital, in front of Parkland Hospital.
Hmm.
So anyway, but so there was nothing uninteresting about our dates. It was all.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
An interesting side note is his last night was spent in the hotel where we spent our first married night.
Wow.
Hotel Texas, we didn't
Texas Hotel?
Yeah, that was where we
They
went for our
changed the
honeymoon.
name.
They
That's
changed.
where our honeymoon night
Is
was
that
in.
right?
That was his last night.
But they auctioned out a
Isn't that
bunch of stuff
interesting?
there.
That's weird.
I got some stuff
Very weird.
that I
And then
bought
Chuck
out
ended
of
up
there.
living
Oh,
on
shit,
Denton Drive.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
It's
okay.
all
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
That's
I
all-
thought they tore that down.
No, they tore the inside
They
down.
they
kept
ripped out the inside and redid all the walls inside. They kept the
I
outside.
know they auctioned out a bunch of stuff that they was going to tear it down.
Yeah, see, when we were there, back when we were in our honeymoon in '87, they didn't talk about Kennedy being there. Back then, I guess they didn't want the idea. This was his last night. He slept, you know. But when we just last week, when we visited down there to see it, now they've got pictures up and everything, and
Of
saying
their
this,
last-
this was his
LBJ
last
was
night
there
he slept
with
here.
them at the hotel, and
Wow.
there's
Yeah,
lots
well-
of pictures of them there.
Well,
And
Johnson was alive. They didn't want to talk about that because old Johnson, he sneaked out, went to see his girlfriend that night.
oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
that may have kept things quiet.
And that didn't come out until
Years and years,
years later,
Wow.
you know, that what his girlfriend said, you know, that's what made it so bad, that
You might not want to keep them.
he told his girlfriend, that when he saw her that night,
Mm-hmm.
that was that, well, after tomorrow them Kennedys ain't gonna give him no more trouble.
Uh-oh.
Now what did he mean by that? You know?
Ooh,
But you know, news media, nobody ever said much about this, except one time, and then it just got shut up.
Wow.
You know,
It's interesting. All that stuff's interesting.
because
and all that.
that pointed it out
There was an
that Mr.
inside.
Johnson knew
Something.
what was about to come off.
Yeah.
And I always, the first thing came to my mind, the very first thing came to my mind when we heard that Kennedy was shot, that Johnson. Because,
He looked
that's
real
a kind of
happy
a,
in all those pictures.
that's a kind of
And he was talking to
relationship
Jackie
they
in
had.
almost all the pictures.
Wow.
Kennedy
and his
did not
wife was
like
just sitting in the
Johnson.
background.
Only
You know, they
reason
kept all the pictures. It's
Only
interesting to go
reason
see him.
Kennedy
You can walk in and go look at him
Big
anytime.
Johnson,
Y'all should go down there.
for
And look at
running
it. They're
mate
blown
is
up huge all over the
because
walls.
without
What's it called?
Johnson, he could not carry the South.
Oh, right, right.
He would never been president if it weren't for
Hilton.
Johnson.
Yeah.
It was the Hyatt Regency.
Because Nixon and Kennedy,
Wait,
it went
it
on
was the Hilton
till all the
when
way
we were
till
there.
7
Now it's the
o'clock in
Hyatt
the
Regency,
morning.
I think.
And they finally had a
I guess,
recount and
yeah.
everything.
Right,
They
right.
just barely, Kennedy
Barely
just
made it
barely won.
anyway. Yeah.
So without Johnson, Kennedy would never made a president.
Wow.
But he had to. He hated Johnson's guts, but he had to pick Johnson because Johnson was carrying us out.
Scary.
He was a majority leader.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, this is all not.
Oh, that's okay. We can edit.
This
Well,
is not just lessons
I'm
philosophy.
saying
That's
this,
true.
I'm saying this is not a part about your Hungarian story.
All right.
Well,
Well,
it may
how?
not be, but that's part
That's
of my
okay.
history.
How does So how did you end up asking this Arkansas woman to marry you?
Oh, gee. You have to ask that?
You know.
No, she asked me. No, take that off. She always get mad at me when I say that.
So ask that question again.
Yeah. But anyway, what happened, she took me home, was it Christmas?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
took me home.
To Arkansas
I took her home to see her mama.
to see her mother. Okay.
Yeah.
In Arkansas. Okay.
In Little Rock, Arkansas. North Little Rock, Arkansas, excuse me.
Yeah,
You gotta say North Little Rock.
You do.
But anyway, so
So you went to see her mother.
yeah, I took her. Yeah, Grace, she loved me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she liked me. She always told
You
me I
charmed
was
her,
her favorite brother, son-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah,
She liked all of them, her sons-in-law. She always cooked
Yeah,
for them, and
that's
they'd eat
great.
what she cooked.
yeah, but she
liked
always told me that you're my favorite son-in-law.
Yeah, that's great.
She couldn't have liked David. She doesn't really care about Earhart. She loved that Hungarian.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, I took her home. Was that when we got lost
Yeah,
trying to get out to
he was going to take a shortcut.
Interstate 30?
Yeah, okay.
We was going to take a shortcut from East Dallas there,
I would like to never
and we
found our
went
way.
on and on and on out in this countryside that, my God, there's no way back out of this,
Can't get
We
there from
couldn't
here.
find Interstate 30.
That
We
was-
thought we was
I
taking a
should've
shortcut
known
through
this.
Garland, but that
Right.
didn't work. But anyway, it was snowing and sleeting and
No, it had been. It was already over.
Yeah,
It
it's all
was
slick
icy.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, but anyway, so finally, I don't know what happened. Somewhere we finally got out, but we was a long way from Interstate 30 by then. Finally, we got back on the road there and then hit it towards Little Rock. And I think it was on Christmas Eve
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
that we went up there to the top of that hill there,
That was Christmas night.
Christmas night. And that's where I did it.
Christmas night.
Yeah, on the top of a hill there, it was beautiful.
Oh, how
Moonlight and all
romantic.
that, huh?
How romantic.
Yeah.
He told me if I would marry him, he would support me and the family, and I would never have to work or
Amen.
anything.
Listen to that.
He kept
I don't
begging.
remember none of
Really, he
that.
kept asking me to marry him over and over again, and I didn't.
Oh, boy.
I had to really pray it through because at that time he had not accepted the Lord. You know.
I didn't remember drinking anything.
But he did. Did you tell him about the night in my apartment? When
Let's hear about the night.
No, you don't want me to tell that.
When I was praying, and I said, I need to pray. I just feel like I've got to pray. Remember?
I thought you talking about when you threw me out. Yeah, can
we
you
can't get all
imagine?
this on film.
My car broke down, okay, out there.
No, and
No, it wasn't going to start.
because it was too cold and
Okay.
there was ice on the ground.
So I go back up there, you know, and then telling them, you know, that, well, I can't get my car started, you know. Somehow, Garland is a long way from here, okay? And there's nobody anywhere around there, no service station, there's nothing in Farmer's Branch. And,
Good trick, yeah.
well, kind of way they let me know, well, that's just tough, you know. I wasn't going to sleep there,
Very nice.
you know.
Good for them.
So,
That was not heard of in my day, that
Right.
you would let your boyfriend sleep
yeah,
on the
but
couch
my
no matter
goodness,
what.
I didn't even think about that.
Right,
You know,
right.
but I was in a bad situation. It was so cold outside.
It was icy.
It
Terrible.
was just solid sheet of ice all over the road, okay?
Yeah.
Everywhere. So, anyway, I was so mad that I started walking. I was going to walk to Gotland. Now, that was a long way, okay? But I think the farther I went, the madder I got and the hotter I got, so I wasn't cold anymore.
Right.
You know, how could she do this to me, you know? And so I was walking home to Gotland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which is a long, long walk. And boy, I thought she didn't know it at that time, but there weren't going to be no more dates.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It was terrible, I'm telling you.
So what was this time that you were at her house? She said she had to
So
pray.
what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You walked all the way
They went
home?
on home. Somebody picked him up and took him home. Remember? Somebody picked you up
Okay.
out there. But then I didn't hear from him for several days.
Uh-oh. Okay.
And that's when he came and brought me that necklace. I came home from work one night and he was parked out there in front of my apartment. And he
Okay.
gave me that little gift, you know, that necklace I wore to Judy's? That
Oh, the
silver-
pearl.
Yeah, with the pearl on it.
Okay.
That's when he gave me that necklace.
Okay.
And then after that, he would say he wanted to get married, and I just told him I didn't feel that I could, you know, because anyway, I
She was
didn't,
playing hard to
I
get.
couldn't, no, I wasn't, I couldn't give you an answer. And then one night Joyce and Norma had gone to somewhere, Oklahoma, I think,
Okay.
and he came over to see me, and I said, I feel like I've just got to pray, and so I got down on my knees and started praying, and he started praying too.
Amen.
Remember that night you got really loud, laying on the floor,
I
praying?
don't remember any of that.
You don't,
Amen.
Les. And then after that, he was going to church with me and everything,
Amen.
and he became a Christian.
Yeah, to Brother Kitchen's church.
Yeah, that's
Okay, yeah, yeah.
We don't want to tell that story.
No, let's leave
yeah,
that
yeah,
one. Right.
Because I thought, whoa,
We'll tell the
what kind of a
descendants
church
about that
am
one.
I
we'll leave
in?
that one
I mean,
out.
No, what was the name of this church you went? This in Waxahachie?
No, it was in West
Yeah,
Dallas. I think it was
West
called
Dallas
Cement
over there.
City.
Cement City?
Uh-huh.
Cement City.
Ah,
Assembly
Assembly of God?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
oh yeah.
Norma and Joyce and I went there.
Okay.
We were all. Norma played the piano.
Wow.
We sang in
Cement City,
we
Assembly
sang in
of
a
God.
trio there.
And
Norma
can
and
you
Joyce and I.
imagine this wild Catholic and going to church like that and then hearing some of those things there? Gee, what did I do? You know, this is crazy, you know. I
So how did it feel
was to the extreme.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What did you think of hearing preaching and all that kind of thing for the first time?
Well, I thought he was.
Was it impressive to you?
like, it was like a terrorist.
How serious he was, type of thing, you mean?
I mean,
Compared to the...
the way they shout and everything, you know, and then, I mean, they get mad when they preach, you know.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I was still trying to decide. I didn't worry about that much. I just, I guess I got hooked there because one night after one date there when I brought her home, do I have to do this?
I don't know. What are you
One
gonna
night
say?
after one date when you brought her home.
Yeah, and then I was on my way home from Farmer's Branch to Garland on this old lonely road there. And well, what did I say? Anyway,
You said to
so
God,
many words that let me have her, and then I'll be a good boy, and all that.
you told God if
Yeah.
if He would let you that this woman marry you, then you would give your life to Him.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
What'd you say?
I was just asking him to.
You said, you told me that that you would never ask for anything else if he gave you.
Well, yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I wouldn't be asking for anything else. So then you heard it.
His pride can't let him tell
Oh, I
it.
think that's romantic.
Gee,
Yeah. Well, it looks like
you're
God answered.
embarrassing me.
God answered your prayer.
She sure did.
You got this dream of your life.
And I don't know, I started saying it turned into a nightmare.
No. Oh.
Well, is that enough stories now?
Yeah, that's
I think
enough.
it's time to get the kids
I
to
think that was
bed.
pretty good. Well,
Anything else on there?
I definitely appreciate it if you can think of anything in the morning, then you can let me know. But I appreciate going through some stories of, just all the times in Hungary and all that. I think that's something that.
Well, not really. I don't want to tell about my firework or nothing like that.
Right.
We'll save that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Les, and.
Or Galveston.
And good night to you.
Oh yeah, Galveston. That's another story in
Yeah,
itself.
we can't tell all of Granddaddy's stories.
You hear about how you kept putting water in it and old oil in your transmission or whatever that was?
Oh, that was, yeah. We didn't have no money coming back from Galveston. And the transmission was leaking as fast as you can pour it in there, the fluid. So finally, we pulled into the service station. That thing was smoking like crazy. And we told him that, you got some black oil? The stuff that you drain out, when you're changing oil? Yeah, we got plenty. And I said, well, how much you charge for it? Oh, you can have whatever you want. What do you need? I said, would you mind to fill up my transmission with that? And he said, son, no, I won't do it, but you can do it yourself. He says, I won't have nothing to do with that. So we just got the can of that oil, that dirty black oil, like molasses, and then poured it into the transmission. Let me tell you.
Is this you and Steve?
Huh?
Is this you and Steve? Or is this you and Mom?
I don't think Steve was with us
Okay.
that time.
Okay.
No, I don't think Steve was with me at that time.
Okay.
But anyway, so we poured it in there. We made a long way with that thing,
Mhm.
And then we did it again, and then got closer and closer to Dallas. Finally, there was no more black oil, and I put in this other service station, and that thing is just steaming like crazy, And then, I said, well, gee, any fluid will work in a hydraulic system, so we told the guy to put some water into the transmission stick,
What do you need, sweetheart?
And he refused it just like the other guy. Are you nuts? You don't do that. He said, well, you don't mind if we use your water. No, just have at it, And that guy was just shaking his head, and then it took a long time to cool that transmission off first because it was keep shooting the steam out of it, Finally cooled it off, and I filled it up with water. And then, believe me, it'll run on water. okay?
Uh-huh.
Automatic transmission.
Uh-huh.
And then, although the next service station we went to, and then we popped the hood, we was going to put some more water in it, and there went this cue stick like a rocket. You know, when we opened the hood,
Yeah.
the steam just shut it on, and it wasn't like a rocket. I mean, we never did find
I
it.
never did find it.
It just shut it on. Cause see, it's got an O-ring on that thing
Uh-huh.
to hold it in there, and then I think a top of a hood
Was holding it.
must have been holding that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when we opened the hood there, and then as soon as we let the hood up, and that thing just bounced off the hood and then just flew out, just like a rocket. But we made it home.
Okay.
Now one time we ran out of gas.
Uh-huh.
That was in transmission fluid or nothing, no
Okay.
money. And then so, okay guys, we have no other choice here. And see, I was thinking, well, you know, a tank always have a couple of more gallons of gas in it, okay? Except it's sitting right down low, so it can't get to the, you know, it can't
Right.
come out. You never can use a couple
Right.
of gallons of gas up. But, here's the thing. If we all pee into it, you know, and then the water, the transmission fluid is all,
Mm-hmm.
it come on the top of the water and brings it up to a level where pick up the pump will pick it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can go on. You know, it'll have gas. You know, to
Okay.
we were just outside of Dallas. We almost made it,
Okay.
and sure enough, everybody lined up. We peed into the tank,
It worked.
and it worked, and made it to Dallas with that gas.
Your machine is training.
Because that water never comes out. There's always water in your tank anyway.
Right, right.
You know, it just accumulates throughout the years.
But the gas would be it would have been lighter than the.
The gas is lighter, so it comes on the top,
Uh-huh.
and that the water never get pumped out by a pump
Right,
because a pump don't go that low. See,
Right,
that's reserve area.
right.
You know, so that worked. You know, there was about 7 of us, I think,
I see.
lined up at the back of it there, and people was watching. What is these crazy guys doing there?
And then when it dries, they must have really been wondering.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We did some crazy things.
Hmm.
Well, that's Hungarians for you.
Well, thank you very much. We may ask you some questions in the morning if we think about it.
Don't blackmail me with any of this.
So just real quick, go over your, stop for just a second. Quick, mention to me as far back as you can, just real quick, your father, grandfather.
Okay. What,
Your father's name was?
my father's name was Károly,
Mhm.
first name,
Mm-hmm.
Bokros.
Okay, then your grandfather.
My grandfather's name was Károly Bokros. Exactly
then-
the
okay.
same. It's just like being junior and
And
senior.
do you know how far back, how about his father? Do you know his name?
That I don't know.
Okay, alright, that's what
No.
I was wondering. Okay.
No, I don't.
Now,
I have to find
and
out.
real quick, the house that's right on the other side of the church that you said that you lived in for a while, it's real close to the church building. It was a little farm area there, had a little courtyard.
Whoa.
Wasn't that a place you lived in?
In Ginger Spada?
In Espada.
We never lived anywhere close to the church.
Okay, there was maybe somebody's living there now that was related to you.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know. That little house next to the church, that's where the caretaker guy, you know, took care of a church.
Okay,
Lived there, him
okay.
and his wife.
I just had this memory of this little
That-
courtyard with had a pig in it. It was somebody's one of your relatives there. I can't remember. They had a pig in there when we were there. Little stone courtyard. Okay.
I don't know if any relatives lived anywhere close to the church.
The other question is, when we went up to this church, when we went up to it in the tower,
Mm-hmm.
an old priest was there, and when we went to the top, he turned on this real funny music, and he started crying. And I said, Les, why is he crying? And you went and talked to him, and he said that this song that he's now broadcasting over the loudspeaker in Gingispada, he was not allowed to play it up until just then recently. Because when we
That
were
would
there,
have been 1989
hey,
or
when we were there, the Berlin Wall was just coming on. Remember, like they had pictures of Stalin and Lenin underneath the in your classroom there, and he was playing this music over this old broadcast of some.
No,
national...
I was against that. I was complaining to them about that.
What were you complaining about?
I just don't think they should ever done that on the loudspeaker. It's like the Muslim churches or some of those crazy India area churches or something. I don't know. You must have talked to some other Hungarian.
No, you were up there. He was saying the song that he was playing. You translated this for me, and he said that the song that he was playing over the loudspeaker.
I remember this was the national anthem, and that he was not allowed to do that in the old days. But now,
like a couple months before, he couldn't have done that. But now, because of what happened in Berlin, he was able to broadcast this, and he was crying about it.
Dean, I'm drawing a blank on that.
Okay.
Period.
yeah,
We
I
were
remember
right up there on
that.
the tower of the church, and he was broadcasting it from the tower of the church, and an old speaker from a broadcast there.
Yeah, I chewed him out for that. I told him that was a crazy thing to do to the town there. You know?
And then there was also another little.
Somebody else tried to do that one time when I was still home, and you know, that was it. Everybody was against that, you know, and these crazy priests that came over there, two new priests, and they got that started. You know,
well, this was even
speakers
better.
up in the towers, and that's like, you know, just like when you go to India or some other places over there, you know, you don't have any choice. You got to listen to it, you know, whatever they're playing there.
Right.
Okay.
Now this right here is a
And
picture.
I think it's against the freedom of
Peace or whatever,
individuals.
yeah. Okay, look at this. This is the school you went to, right?
Yeah.
Elementary school, and then the trade school would have been up towards
That's
Gingis.
Gingis.
Yeah.
In Gingis.
In Gingis. Okay. You took us by a. This is the elementary school he went to. You took us by a trade place. It had a big iron gate. You said they made transistors or some kind of tubes for radios, and they were just closing and going out of business because communism was just falling there in '89 when we were there. And you had talked to an old man that was at the gate. I think you said that was the first place you got your job, the first place you worked. This was in
The
Gingis.
big gate is where those lions are.
Okay.
That's where we.
Okay. Right. Okay.
That's where that's where our shop was, and also that's where we lived. We lived inside it. There was a building in there.
Okay.
That we lived in that.
So that gate is where you took us to that day. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But they didn't make anything there except machine parts in a shop.
I mean, this place right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
But that building is way up in here. Okay.
Okay.
There's more than one building. I think it's 2 or 3 buildings back there.
Okay. When we were there, this gate was closed, and you were talking to a guy through the gate.
Well, this was closed because at night they close it.
Okay.
They don't want people going to park there.
Because the park's just
messing around. You know, and dope heads. And
it's a
everything.
private thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not necessarily a private thing, but used to they always have it open.
Okay.
Back in the days when there was no dope. Okay?
Sure. Right.
But now because of a dope and you know, people get get stoned on dope in there, you know, and stay in there. But there is no as far as a shop goes in there, it was for teaching a trade only.
Okay.
There was nothing was basically manufactured there except some of the parts that we was making for tractors and stuff, you know.
Okay.
But there was no electronics of anything that I ever was connected with in Hungary.
Okay. All right. Yeah, interesting.
But now on the top of a hill there where I was working after I got out of that school, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now that was, there was some areas where they did some defense stuff, okay?
Okay, right.
That we built all kind of stuff for the Russians there.
Yeah,
you know.
okay.
But we didn't know that because, you know,
You just got a contract.
I mean, it was an air compressor.
Right.
Well, whenever they put the tag on it, later on we found out when they put the tag on it, they stamped it on there, made in USSR, which it was a big lie. We made it right there in Hungary.
I see, okay. And they put the
They
stamp
was
on there.
going on a Russian submarine or something.
Okay, yeah.
You know.
Right, right.
But, that was, you know, that was their secret parts,
Mhm.
you know, but it was all machine shop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Not
Yeah.
know, when you mention electronic stuff, I don't know any kind of electronic
Okay.
devices of anywhere being.
We were by some place, and they were going out of business now. They were shutting the whole plant. And when you were talking to this old man, he said, "Yeah, with the new stuff coming in from the West, we're having to shut down." And everything that they were manufacturing was old-timey stuff compared to what they could get there in the '89. And he was explaining to you that they were just
I
then
don't know
shutting
where
down.
we were.
Huh, okay.
I don't even know any company.
Somewhere close to that school.
It was somewhere close to the school, yeah.
I remember that part too.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
recall any of that
Okay.
because I don't know any electronic component manufacturer anywhere in Ginger.
Oh.
You know that they was
Probably the years you were gone.
Yeah, this wasn't stuff when you were there. This is stuff that they're making now, or in the '80s, which now they were shutting down.
I have no idea.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, well, again, well, thank
but
you.
that shocked me about the priest that about putting speakers up and all that. I don't, because the only thing I recall about that is, and I told Mom about it, that really makes me mad, you know. And also that they redid that the church there, you know, scraping off all that beautiful paintings.
Did they?
And yeah, inside in a dome there.
Yeah.
That used to be like in a basilica or whatever, you know, that Michelangelo stuff,
Right.
you know, and all that. Beautiful pictures everywhere.
They took all that off.
And on the post there and everything, they scraped it all down to make money on it as a old church, you know, for tourist attraction.
Okay, okay.
And boy, it made me so mad. And I told Yanni, I said, they should have run that priest out of town, you know, for he did that for money, because that town spent many $400 on that, you know, to get that done.
Right.
They had the world famous painter doing
Coming
all
and do
that.
that, yeah. Hundreds of years ago, right?
And then, no, this was back in, I guess in the 40s and early 50s when they finished it up.
Okay.
Before
okay.
I left, but it was beautiful.
I see.
They just finished it up just before I left.
I see. Huh.
And then these two idiots, of course, I told Yanni, when I told Yanni about it, I said, y'all should have run those guys out of town. He said, we did.
I don't.
They actually run those two priests out of town.
I see.
Yeah, they had to run on foot.
On foot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And they did a lot of other crazy things that should never happen, you know, in that town there. Just for money, for tourists to
Try to bring stuff in, yeah.
Because my old priest, who was there when I left, he would never allow any of that. None. Zilch. He just never seen anything in money that way,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I mean, that history always been there. They could have done it if they wanted to showing a history of that church.
Right.
You know, going back to 300 AD or whatever.
Right.
But he would never allowed to have that, you know, that, hey, you don't do that to my church.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is not a money-making business. This is a church.
Of this town. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Right. Yeah.
Of course, when those two whenever he died or went away or whatever, and then these two priests came in, a young priest, and they're the one that they convinced some of the people there to do all this, you know, that how much tourists they could get in there, and then they just completely destroyed that church. On the outside, you see all that painting scraped off on the side of a tower and all that. Those are idiotic to do that, you know.
Yeah.
That-
Well,
It
okay.
made me mad.
Well, thank you, Les, very much for taking the time tonight.
You're
And,
welcome. Well, I like to see that sometimes, see if I'm going to be embarrassed.
Okay, we'll send you a
I'll
copy.
definitely
Alright.
give you your copy and plenty to share with all your Hungarian friends.
How you going to send me a copy? Oh, on a CD or
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll send you a DVD.
Yeah.
We'll try to
Send
get
you-
some Hungarian music to put in the background.
Yeah.
Polkas and
Polka is not a Hungarian music.
uh-oh.
Chardash is.
Csárdáshes.
Yeah, Chardash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I guess y'all wasn't there at that time whenever we did all the dancing there one time when we went back.
We were there at the, at the house when
Just a little bit of that dancing,
they
but
started
not
to do
like
that
the
business a little bit. Some of the girls
Oh,
got
yeah,
going
they
a little
do that
bit.
all the time.
Okay.
all right.
All right, well,
over
thank you
and
very
out.
much, Les.
Kitty cat.